So while we're waiting, I got an email from someone who said that the recording was blurry for them. And I said, I'm not sure what I can do about that. But it turned out that when you're viewing on YouTube, you go to the little gear and make sure that you have your, oh God, the word just, your resolution set on HD. So she said that fixed it for her. So I thought I would let everyone know that in case they're having issues. Also wanted to be sure everyone saw that they're going to be holding workshops starting tomorrow. There's 2 tomorrow, 1 on Monday and 1 on next.
I'll check my log. I'll check my log.
So be sure you're going to probably want to definitely attend those. I know I am. They're liaison hosted workshops, and they're the ones that happened at the meeting in Denver. So I don't
Morning.
Good morning. I don't have any real plans for today. I thought we would just have people ask if they want to talk about any aspect of any of the portals, and we can just kind of look into it and see, get a little more information about how to do things or things you're having trouble with. We can look into those. Anyone?
Mm-hmm.
Or if you feel really comfortable that you've learned how to do something and you think it would benefit the others, I'm happy for you to share your screen and kind of go through it and show what you're doing that worked for you. Oh, I will say this. At the last meeting, when we got to the interview scheduling, and I mentioned that there's a minimum 15-minute duration, it can be broken up into a 10-minute interview and a 5-minute review period, but it's a minimum of 15 minutes that has to be in each interview block. And I asked liaison if that could be changed. And at this point, they told me no, it cannot be changed. So what that means for my program is we will not be able to use the interview portal because our program director and chair meetings are 10 minutes each with no break in between. So, and my program director has said that she's not going to add 2 hours to her day because of some arbitrary number that has been set by liaison. I will also say, though, that Julie and Natalie are having a meeting with, I'm sorry, I don't know their names, the doctors that sort of spearheaded this whole thing on Thursday, and they are going to bring this up. So if this creates a problem for you as a program, you could either email them directly or you can email me, and I can kind of get a tally of the people that are having issues that would not be able to use the interview portal because of that 15-minute required time. Just ignore that. I'm not answering it. It's my mailroom telling me I have to come pick up packages. So anyway, that is, and then also I had submitted a bunch of questions that came up at the first meeting, and I didn't really get any answers. I think the plan, Natalie and Julie are planning to answer those questions through their email that they send out. So just be sure to keep an eye on those when they send those.
So I think what would be helpful for me is to, once we identify the candidates that we'd like to interview, how do we move them? And then how do you set up an interview session?
Okay.
Can we do that?
Sure. Yeah. So here's what I can do.
I hope I'm not so far behind everybody. Sorry.
Well, the thing is, I think that right now we've kind of gone through pretty quickly the whole process. At least gotten to the interview portal section. So I think we can definitely go back, and I don't know that any of us can see this too many times. I know I can't. So what I'm going to do is, let me just move back. So we're going to assume that you've already reviewed
I have
every,
no one. How is that?
you don't have anyone in your review, in your received.
Applicants?
You should have, I think everybody got 27 people.
And I'm not in the UT thing. Interviews.residencycas.
I think what you have to do, because I had this issue, so I called them in the segments.
Did you invite yourself to your portal?
I was able to do this last time.
Yeah, check your segments. Click the blue button over on
Where
the
it says segments here.
segment. Yeah, click
And
that
then
and then
delete those segments and apply.
Jen, I don't mean to interrupt, but Jen, are you in the program ResidencyCAS or the interview portal? It depends on the portal that you're in. So maybe that's the problem.
So how do I?
So if you click over here on the colored little dots on the,
yeah,
and you see you've got, like, I right now could move to the review portal or the interview portal because I'm in the program portal right now.
Okay, I'm in the interview portal now. Okay, received.
So you need to check and go into the program portal.
Got it. Sorry. I feel like I'm so behind. I don't.
It's, it's a whole new process. It's going to take time to learn this. I mean, it honestly amazes me that, we're just having workshops and things this late. I feel
they're
like
not even doing them. We are ourselves.
Well, they are going to do some though, starting tomorrow. They're redoing the ones that were done at the meeting. So there's 4. There's 2 tomorrow. There's 1 on the 26th and there's 1 on the 28th.
Where was that distributed?
Natalie sent it out this morning, I think it was. She sent out an email or late yesterday afternoon, one or the other. Hang on, let me just find it.
Oh, I see. It was yesterday morning.
Yeah.
Does anybody need it?
Sign up for those. Yeah, you could put it in the chat box if you want to. That way anybody who needs the link.
I have a question. Maybe you know this. Are they going to record those and then distribute them? Or are they already available?
I'm going to guess they will record them because they have a lot of other recordings, but I don't know because I'm not privy to the ways of liaison.
Okay, so I was talking with our program coordinator this morning and we're just concerned because there's 2 that we know neither one of us will be able to make, which is tomorrow and tomorrow night. So during the day and then the evening, we won't be able to make either one of those. So I just want to make sure that we're not missing anything.
Right.
And I sent an email today, but of course there's a bunch of issues and I'm not on the listserv. So that was a whole other problem, but I haven't been able to get an answer. So
yeah, I mean, I can't imagine that they would not record them. To me, in this time of Zoom, that is one of the biggest benefits of these, of using it, being able to record.
So this is too much, too many words for the chat. So if anyone needs it, can you just message me in the chat your email? I'll send it to you. Because I can't put that much stuff in the.
Can you just put the link in? Isn't there's like a link so you could open the link and copy that into the chat? I can probably find it. And do
No, here
that.
it is. It's just they don't know when it is, so it's a,
Well, it does tell you when you go to the sign up page. If you scroll down to the bottom, it tells you which one and what day. It doesn't give the, I don't know, I don't remember.
yeah, there's a hyperlink in there to register, so I don't
Right.
know if that will
Yep, I
transfer.
did it this morning. Once you click on the hyperlink, you have to add in your name and your program information, and then further down that page, that's where you have the 4 options for the 4 next training
Okay,
sessions.
so there's the link. Sorry.
Right. And then the only thing, I guess they're going to send out the link for the webinar or the workshops because I don't have that. That doesn't seem to be anywhere. So, but you can sign up for all of them. It's not like the one-on-ones where they're asking us just to sign up for one. You can sign up for all of them. So,
Stephanie.
Okay, I've moved
Hi,
my,
Stephanie.
Hi.
I have a quick question. So I had the 27 applicants in the received, and I was trying to play with it to move it to the interview invitation phase. So I like unchecked some just to play with it. And then I went to the tags below. After I had them checked, the ones I wanted, I went to the tags and I put interview invitation. And then when I refresh, sorry, I did phase. And I did interview invitation. And then now I just have 11 in my received and I don't see anything on the invitations. So what did I do wrong?
If you need to check your segment at the top.
It was blank. When I went to
Sure
segment, there's nothing there.
Okay, so see what I just moved to and see how now you can see review complete 25, interview invitation 2. So that's what should be happening.
Oh,
when
wait. So I
change-
have received too.
When I go to segment, I only have a phase that says received. And it shows 11 received. Everything else is, I guess, nowhere to be found right now.
Well, okay, so are you clicked on the thing that kind of looks like a book?
Yeah, I'm in that portal. Yep.
Me too.
And then you go up to segment.
Yep.
And click it. And is there anything in that box?
No, it just says phase received. That's it.
Me too.
Yeah, it shouldn't say anything. Delete anything that's in that box.
Okay.
So click the little negative sign and then click apply.
And okay.
And then see what happens.
Okay, so now I see 16 interview. Okay, that works.
So
Thank
what
you.
I was told is that a segment is basically like a filter. They just won't use the word filters because they think that sounds like we're filtering out.
Okay.
So a segment is basically like a filter. And when you create some of these things, it will create a segment. And so if you don't want that to happen, you have to just keep an eye on your segments. And usually when there is one, it will have the word segment and then like a number beside it, like segment -1 or segment -2. And you can just go in and delete those.
Okay, so now I see it in the interview invitation, so I feel better because I'm like, I lost my candidates.
So, so if we say we're going to interview 2 people, we're going to invite 2 people for interviews, then I believe now, if we go to the interview portal,
Can you share your screen again?
my screen it's not shared.
I can see your screen.
Yeah, I can see it.
I can too.
Oh, it's another view. Okay, sorry.
Okay. So now when you go to your interview portal,
Okay.
oh, I still have all my people there because I didn't move them. It should, I believe your candidate should be in your interview portal. I was, like I said, I didn't have much time to mess with this over the last couple of days. I had a bunch of other stuff I had to do. And so once you say there, that, are you looking there in your, where the little person is with the, it's that second one. I'm putting my mouse on it right now. Do you see the people that you put there to invite for interview?
Yes.
Okay. And just so you know, over here under the status, you can actually change someone. Oh, I've assigned them to a session, so it won't let me cancel them. But if I delete that, oh, it's scheduled. So obviously we find out that if we've done some of these things, then it's going to be a little more to undo it. But in the real world, that's something we need to know, right? If somebody cancels an interview on us, it looks like you've got to go in and find the session that they're in and then cancel them
Does
from there.
anyone else have an issue with the interview candidates not showing up? Because this happened since in the sandbox with me, it's like an IT issue on my end. Is that happening to anybody else? Because it's still happening here. When I go to my interview portal, there's nothing. No?
And you and the people were in your other portal, they were in the invited to interview.
Yes. There's 16 showing and invited, but when I go to the interview portal, it's blank.
Mm.
I wish there was a way to just clear this.
So they're not able to log in and cancel or manipulate their day to change it. Say there's a wait list.
I think there is a way for them to do that if you allow it. I'm sorry, just
Is anybody else feeling like I'm gonna fail here? This is like crazy.
Me too.
It's really horrible. Honestly, I'm like, what?
Well, it is a lot. And I
Yeah,
have
but they
to
should be
say,
walking us through each and every step of this and not
Yeah.
like, oh, here's what we did in January. That's like, here, this is what it's capable of. Hurry up.
right.
I don't know. It's just,
Well, I'm going to say that I was almost relieved when I found out they said they can't change the duration from 15 to 10 minutes, because then that means I don't have to learn how to use the interview portal this year. And that's kind of nice. It's kind of a relief, because then I just have to get comfortable with the review portal, which is, I think, pretty, easy. And the other one, and we're just going to use it pretty much like we used ERAS. And so, because it is a lot, it's really a lot, and not a whole lot of time to get comfortable with it.
what
Sorry
happens
to
if we
interrupt.
use Thalamus again?
You can use Thalamus, you can use Zoom, you can do anything.
No, but I'm saying, like, I just feel like I don't want to do it this way, but you can't, because the applications come in this system.
Yeah, but the applications came into ERAS before Thalamus was in ERAS, and you
That's
still
right.
use Thalamus. And I use Zoom. I never use Thalamus. I always use Zoom once, 2020 happened. And so,
all right. So I'm just trying to think, like, the email that we send out to invite them, there should be a way that they can self-schedule. I mean, that would make sense, no?
it would, but then you will be using the portal at least to that end if you're going to let them self-schedule. I've never let mine self-schedule. I've always
I
scheduled.
can't do that Zoom thing. That's too many moving pieces for me.
We
Right,
were
so-
told in Denver that if you choose to let them self-schedule, it lets them choose not only the day, but also their interview slots in the day, which to me sounds like a very bad idea. And also that's just like dumb, and it's all or nothing. So
Right.
we're signed up for a one-on-one, so I'm hoping to get clarity on that, because to me that just seems really stupid, because if you're letting them choose who they're meeting with, how can you ensure that they're meeting with all the right people?
Correct.
You know?
Yeah.
Right.
So hi, this is Tammy. I just literally got off my one-to-one meeting, and a couple of things you said. So for the timing where they do like 15 minutes and then 5 minutes for the interviews, they're going to look at customizing that. So there might be another option. So it's off of the 5-minute increments. They also said several times during the meeting that we don't have to use the interview portal this year. They're not going to make it mandatory, which I thought was very interesting because I'm planning to use it. However, there are a few wobbles and bobbles, such as the person picking their interview time. So I have the scheduler built, and I will turn on self-scheduling eventually, but it's just a generic AM session or a PM session without any definitive times in there for the applicant to see, so they can either pick morning or afternoon. And that way the program itself will build them for the interviewers, if that makes sense.
Okay. So I guess it's just, how do you build that day? And like,
Right. Correct.
okay.
Yeah. And then so it was actually a really good meeting. I would definitely pack that 30 minutes tight with stuff. I literally ran out of time with them, but if you are going to use the interview portal, and say your program director wants to meet with the applicants before you actually jump into interviews, that can be done, but you would make a meeting room outside of your interview rooms. I learned that today.
Are you able, Tammy, are you able to share your screen in that session, or would you recommend doing like an intro and welcome session in another platform?
I don't know. That's actually a good question. We're going to try to get a mock interview day up and running next week with my faculty. I'll know more then. So,
Okay, thank you.
yeah.
Tracy, I have a question. Can one use their scheduler and have everybody self-schedule them on the particular day they can interview? And then that's where I end and just send out my Zoom breakout room invitations for those days and not use this platform?
That's what I've been told today.
I hope so. Okay, thank you.
So just to touch on that, I was trying to set up my session today to utilize it. We want to use Zoom. We don't want to use the platform or CAS. And it says I have to like build the rooms in order to create the session. Am I missing something? I took away self-scheduling and it still required me to make the rooms.
Yeah, I think you have to make rooms before you can set a schedule. That's, if memory serves, when I was starting to do it, that's what it required me to set up rooms first.
Yeah, that is correct. You have to do that.
So even though we're not going to use them, they just have to kind of be in there. So the number of rooms that I would typically have in my Zoom for breakout rooms, I should set up in here.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you.
Okay, so if we're going to set up a session, how do we do that?
Oh, I'm not going to be very helpful because I've already done all this. And I couldn't figure out how to undo it. So as you see, I set up a bunch of meeting rooms because I didn't know what I needed. So I was just trying to kind of think of what my interview day looked like. So as you see, I set up a bunch of rooms for the times. And then I went here. But well, here, let's just say a
new session.
So then you're going to say your date and your start time.
Okay, that's like the session, right? Okay.
And what rooms. Let's see. Number of applicants and start time. Why did it just jump back? I don't know why it just did that. September 16. Oh, we'll just say that. Oh, how many applicants are going to be in the session? Let's just say 12 for the fun of it. Okay, room setup is required. Okay. Here we go. So how many
Oh,
rooms
okay.
you're going to use? So, I'm going to say, let's say 4. Number of interviews each applicant must participate in during the block. Now, here's the thing, right? If you had certain people you want to interview with certain people, I don't know if you can set up concurrent sessions so that you can put the people with the right block. That's, a question I have. Right now, I'm going to say they have to see all of them. And then how many additional rooms? It only gives you up to 2. Fortunately for us, that works because our program director and our chair both have a separate room that all applicants have to do. And so I don't know, again, some of these arbitrary numbers, I don't really understand why they did it, but a programmer somewhere thought that that was what needed to happen. And then you would save it. So we've got the rooms now set up and we've got the session, and then we save it. And then now we go in and you can see that we have 12 applicants, 6 rooms total, and the rooms aren't, the applicants aren't assigned yet. Let me see.
Create schedule. Maybe.
You got to add the applicants. Okay, so let's just see where you do that. Maybe.
Did you assign the interviewers to a room yet?
No, I haven't even been doing that because you don't have to do that at the beginning.
Okay.
You can like hold off on doing that. So let me go to where the applicants are, which is here. And
Session.
there we go. I'm going to change these to select sessions. Okay, so I'm going to put 3 of them right now. Now, maybe I'll make 6 of them. So I went back up to the applicants, and then I'm going to select down here their session and assign them to that session. And then I'm going to go back up here and look at session 2. And I'm going to see applicants. There's 12, assigned are 6 rooms. And now we should be able to create the schedule. Oh, time frames assigned to each room. The good thing is it does give you messages to help you guide you through it. So we don't have to choose the thing, but here is where you choose whether you want your interviewers to have full or limited access. This is where if you were going to do Zoom, you should be able to put your Zoom link or Thalamus if there's a link for that. Interview duration. Okay, so if I want these to be, 20-minute interviews with 0 review, I can do that. But as you see, minimum of 15 minutes. So if I want a 10-minute interview with no duration, no review, it won't let me do that. And see, that's what my program director and my chairperson do. So right now, this doesn't work for us. We would have to at least set a 5-minute duration. And then we would apply, and there's your schedule, how many things, and you save it. And that you're going to set that for each room in case there's any change. You can put your interviewers, and then you can save. But it looks like, as it says, any changes made to this schedule will affect the schedule in all rooms for multiple interviews. So it's going to affect all of those first rooms. And then those last interviews that we said everybody had to attend, those would be set separately. And then let's just, for grins, let's make it 15 minutes with no. And because that would be like my program director and my chairman, they would have full access. Let's just say.
Stephanie, I have a question.
Sure.
Right there where it says PDF application, full, unlimited, those are the only two options that we're gonna have. We can't like alter that anyway.
Well, you alter, my understanding is you alter it by the role in your roles for your, I don't think we can access that from here. We have to go back.
Yeah, I did play around with the roles a little bit.
So the role is really what limits mostly what they can see. If you are limiting it, I'm guessing you're going to choose limited application access, because I'm just making this up. To me, if you chose full access and then they have a limited role, it would seem like it wouldn't let them see everything, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, yeah, and even like the limited, I took a look at the limited application, and it still had like more info. Like for example, like when they go into the residence room, I usually only give them like the picture, personal statement. That's about it. Nothing else. They don't see no scores or any academics or anything like that. And I tried to play around with that, could not figure out how to just easily create a PDF application with only the things that I wanted.
So, I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah.
Right.
And did you say you're not going to be using the interview portion of this? What are you going to be using?
Zoom, probably.
Zoom, okay.
The reason is that if this duration stays 15 minutes, then that doesn't work for two of our interviewers, because their complete duration is only 10 minutes. It sounds like, based on what Tammy said, that maybe they're working on making that something that is variable for us. And if they do that, I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. My husband was at the last meeting where we were talking about this, and my husband has programmed. He has a degree in computer science, basically. And, he said it shouldn't be that big of a deal for a programmer to change that 15 to 10 or 5 or something else. But who knows how this is programmed. So it feels like that should be something they can do. And I don't understand why anybody would set some arbitrary 15-minute duration or whatever. But anyway, if that isn't changed, for sure, we will not be using this.
Okay. And did you say that Thalamus was an option to use? Like if
you have access to Thalamus, yes. I mean, I've never used Thalamus, so we had access at my old institution, and I know there's access through ERAS. But now that we're not using ERAS, I don't know how that works.
Yeah,
I don't know that
tried.
much about Thalamus, right?
It was
So
so
other
easy
people
to
might.
use. It was such a good program. I wish we stuck with that one.
I know it was. I just have a quick question. So when we get the applications and we're reviewing them, this might be another section, but when we assign them to the faculty, like that might be the next step that we talk about. Like, how do you assign the reviewers? Like, you pull them into their
So let me move a few people here. I'm not going to move too many because it takes too
sorry,
long.
because I know we're trying to do.
All right. So I'm going to move some people back to received. And it's not that many, so hopefully it won't take very long. And so, they come in as received. And then you're going to do whatever, usually your program director and you will ever go through them, kind of call whatever you do, make sure they're all complete or whatever, that they have everything you require. Then you're going to select them and move them to, if you want to do that, application complete, right? So that you know that these are all complete, nothing's missing. And then once you do that, you can choose application assigned and in review.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, and then once you apply that, and you have to have, I think we've said this, but just to be sure everyone knows, you do have to have an evaluation form selected to be able to assign the applications. So once they are moved to the assigned and in review, then you'll see down here.
Sign, okay.
There's an assign. Now, if I want all of these 5 to go to the same persons or the same people, I can do that right here. Otherwise, you have to kind of do it individually. So like if I only want one person, per application, then I would do that. And I would then do this.
Stephanie, can I ask a really quick question?
Sure.
As I was playing around in here yesterday, I noticed, so when we are assigning these applicants and we want to make sure that the evaluation is already in there, what is the difference between the holistic evaluation and the other evaluations? And
Well,
is
those
there...
are things that ResidencyCAS put in there. So
Okay.
those are things that you could look at and adapt or whatever. But if you have your own evaluation that you want to use, you can do it. You do have to create it in this platform. You can't import it or anything like that. You have to create it. It's pretty easy to do. It's kind of like setting up a Google survey.
Sure. So it would just be a discussion with your program leadership based on what they feel like they want to put importance into.
Yes.
And that's what we would be using. So all of our reviewers then would use that evaluation form, and that would help us start to collect, for example, that holistic score that almost like I don't know what the word is, but like kind of puts them in order for us, similar to how we would put together a rank list.
Yes. The main thing that you'll have to do, though, that is important to get that information, because even if you have this form inside this portal, unless you create the calculated fields, I'm showing this right here, you have to create calculated fields for every aspect that you want to be able to monitor, for lack of a better word, I guess. So if people are using, a score, a sliding scale of 1 to 5, you can do this where it will show you, your average of certain, certain questions. So there's quite a bit, I think, that can go into using your own, setting up your own form. It seems like it's, it doesn't just pull the information out and you can easily see it. You've got to set it up. to show you what you want to see. Does that make sense?
It does. So that's the caveat though. Once you've created the evaluation, then you need to be able to also create those calculations so it pulls that list in.
Right.
I see. Okay.
So
Thank
that,
you.
sure, yeah. And in fact, I had set up, I don't know if I can, let's see. I had set up a couple of them just for grins. And I set up reviewer recommendation so that it would show me what their recommendation was. And I think number 1 was recommend for interview, and like number 2 may have numbered them like in its own little application head. I don't know for sure because I only set up one thing to show me if they were recommended for interview.
Okay.
So, and as you see here, like, they check when they finish it that they've completed the review. So
Thank you. That's helpful. I did want to also just, reiterate what Jen said. I feel like this is a wonderful idea, but I do think that we needed a little bit more information. I know I'm in the process of changing leadership here, and I think they're so overwhelmed already with everything they have to learn. And then to also try to educate myself and them on all of this, it just seems like so much.
in a really compressed time.
Does
Yeah.
do they get this or no?
Does my leadership understand it?
No, I mean, does
Cass.
our CREOG people understand where we are at this point, or they think everything's great?
I don't, well, I can't speak for anyone but myself and my interactions with, like, for example, Natalie and Julie. I think they realize that there's a lot of stress right now and that, people are concerned. But, I really can't say I haven't spoken to the doctors that kind of spearheaded this thing, and if they realize how, because I feel like unless you're doing this, you
I have
don't
no
understand
idea.
the level of anxiety, right? And so I feel like, I even told my program director that I said, everyone who has the best intentions for this whole thing is great, but unless they're down in the, boots on the ground, down in the dirt with us doing this, I just don't think, you get where you don't really understand truly how much this is, how it's a huge, huge change. It's just not a little change. It's a gigantic change. And to me, for us to only be having, right now we're at what, 5 weeks till the interview applications come out. And just to be sure everyone knows this, these fake applicants will be gone from your live portal on the 31st of August. And the only place you'll be able to mess around is in the sandbox. So anything that you're trying to set up and figure out, you're going to have to, do in the sandbox and then move it to the live portal.
Stephanie, I have a question.
Sure.
I know that there's different phases, obviously, with the phases that we have out there. But for the review one, usually my PD and APD are the only ones that kind of like do the review. And if they have a question about a certain applicant, then they might ask a fellow colleague to take a look and get their opinion. So do you think that it's feasible for them to just continue like they've done in the past, and then over in the interview portal, when the interviews are assigned, then the interviewer that's going to be interviewing them on those particular days would have the PDF that they could view there and do an evaluation form on that side of things?
Yes. Yeah. I believe that is the process. I believe that in the interview portal, And again, it's probably the thing I've done the least. Oh, I just clicked on the wrong thing.
That was the one stressing me out the most. So I did spend a lot of time over there. So I'm feeling pretty good about the interview portal, actually. So I just wanted to make sure the actual interviewers could view it on that side, and then they could do, like, they can review it.
My understanding is that they'll see whatever you have allowed them, you know, like in other words, whether they can see the limited application or the full application.
Right.
And again, I haven't looked in here to see there's where you allow them to self-schedule in the little, that's the only little option you have actually in that gear, is to allow them to self-schedule.
And which is fine, because the schedule, I think, is just going to put them with all 4 rooms that I have.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, that's easy. When you have something kind of like that, I feel like it's a lot easier. And then as you see, you know, there's guides here that hopefully will answer some of these questions. And I feel like, you know, once you know what questions to ask, these are a lot more helpful. Right. So, it very well may answer your question somewhere. I don't know, you know, because again, this is probably the place I've spent the least amount of time, just because I haven't been sure I'm going to need to know it this year. And if I don't need to know how to do it this year, I'm not going to try to learn, because I won't remember if I don't do it anyway. It'll be like I'm starting over next year. Anyway.
Yeah, I'm going to have to try it through here, because they cut, like, I can join Zoom meetings, but my institution cut all of our Zoom accounts out. So using Zoom is not an option for me.
Oh, wow.
I've never used Thalamus. So either way, I'm going to be having to learn something.
Learning something new. Yeah. Yeah.
So Stephanie, are you doing paper evaluation forms, or how are you doing that?
My plan, and I've always done this, well, here we did, I'm trying to remember now. I think during the review period, see, I've only been here I just started right before interviews started last year at this institution. In my other institution, we did everything through ERAS. They reviewed in ERAS and they made their comments, and I had, you know, little special attributes set up for them to use and everything. Here, I'm trying to remember. I know we had for interview day, we had paper forms. And, you know, I came in, I was brand new, and I didn't feel like I could make a bunch of suggestions. You know, I feel like I have to have, you know, seniority and to start saying, well, it might be better this, you know.
And one more question. So if there's 6 rooms, right? And so each candidate meets with 2 faculty, myself, the PD, and the chair, and the chiefs. So if it's like random people, like not every interviewer has the same, like they're not interviewing everyone, right? So like I have 1 faculty interviewing 4 people. Each faculty interviews 4 people. So how do you even go about setting that up?
That I'm not sure about, because now this particular schedule that I set up. Oh, let me see how we can look at it, what I did when I set it up. No, that's print. Oh, clear.
And that looks like it's the evaluation form on the right. Add questions.
So I'm pretty sure, again, you know, I'm not positive because I did this just once, and but I'm pretty sure that when I set it up, you know, I wish that it would show you like what you did when you first set it up. I'm just going to do a new session because that's the only way that I can start from scratch. All right. So I'm sorry. I don't know why I did that and how I did that, and I can't go back now.
All right, so if you have,
So I'm setting up a new session. And when you set up the rooms, that's where you choose how many rooms you have here. So how many you're going to use? So how many rooms do you have total? 6? You said 5?
yeah, you can say 5 just because for.
And will each of the people interview in each of the rooms? No, right? So right now, I think I put, how many people I put in there? I can't remember now. 12. I think I put 12. So that you've almost got to divide the number of rooms. Like, do you see everybody?
I do.
And who else sees everyone?
I might not be able to because I'm gonna be dealing with this nightmare.
Right. How many other people see
Chiefs, PD, and that's it.
Okay. So here's the thing that I did that I think might work. Let's see. So we would
Okay, so
say
they have
there would be
the whole
3
group.
rooms in the block, and each interview for each applicant must be in one of the rooms. Would they just choose one of those 3? Like if those are all faculty, that's going to be divided into 3. Would that be right?
Oh, it depends on how many I have that day. Sometimes I have 5, sometimes I have 4.
Right.
So they all say each candidate gets 2 faculty interviews and then the rest is everyone.
Okay, so let's just say then they all have to be in 2 of the blocks. And then we have 2 other rooms. And again, this is, I don't know why you can only have 2 additional rooms that require all applicants, but for now, that's what we'll say. You have your residents and your PD or I'm sorry, whoever you said.
Right.
Everybody sees everyone, right? So then that's what you do in your rooms. You set that up. And then you say that, oh, I called it session 2, but that's okay because here's August. That's 1. So now we've got 12 applicants. We have 5 rooms. And again, you go in here, you have to set up your room, how long it's going to be.
Okay.
And the PDF access. And so let's just say, like the rooms with the faculty, how long do they meet?
20.
20 minutes. And did they have a break?
Well, so they're only interviewing like 4 people. So they do have breaks, like, so, but it's like broken up.
Okay.
This is a nightmare. I'm not even going to use, I don't know what I'm going to do.
Right there, Stephanie, on those that you're on, that like time schedule at the bottom. Get back to where you were. Yeah, the like next to the plus sign, that weird little like page break to the left.
Oh, I see.
You can add breaks. I found that. I'm playing around while you're talking, so that way as people are sharing, I can see what's what.
Right.
But
no.
I can't add I have the candidates assigned to that day, but I can't add them to the schedule. And that's what I'm trying to figure out now, is how to assign them to the schedule.
I see, yeah. Because how do you, yeah.
So, yeah.
It assigns them to the day, but then they're not, it says that there's applicants for the day, but then when I go, if I click create schedule, it's like nothing happens. And there's no way to manually add people.
Hang on just a minute. Let me do this. So what about you, Jen? For yours, how long are the interviews with your residents and your program
10.
director? 10 minutes? And so here is where we come into, you can't have you have to have at least 15 minutes. So just for grins, we're going to do that for now. Okay, and now we have to invite the applicants, which is here.
Little guy, yeah, okay.
Okay, and so we're going to choose 12 is how many I think I had. 10, 11, 12, and assign them to the session. And it looks like you can have them assigned to multiple sessions, which is interesting because there might be a way to.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, you could almost have like the 20 minutes of the faculty. You can put the breaks in as, because I create an Excel sheet. I'm old school. And then I move it like this way to accommodate. So each person has 2 and it varies by the candidate. It's not the same.
And the main thing that's the problem with that is that you lose the beauty of what this will do once you tell it. I believe it's right here. I don't think it's this. Oh yeah, there it is. So when you tell it to create the schedule with the people that you've assigned, then it does create that schedule for you.
Right.
So, I mean, I love that, the idea of it. Sadly, I don't think it's going to work because it's all the times for me are going to be off. And so
can you create that schedule manually yourself though? Instead of clicking that create?
I don't think you would have it available like to print. I don't think there's a way to manually like put those names in there, right? It looks like, if you decide you don't want Addison,
then you can remove her.
I can remove Addison. She
because hypothetically,
although it only removes her from that one, it doesn't remove her from everything.
Yeah, because hypothetically, what if you get someone to cancel on the interview morning, then that's gonna mess up the whole interview schedule.
Right. So you'd have to go in, it looks like, and manually remove them from each of the sessions that they're in.
And then redo the schedule again.
If that or just leave the blanks. Let's see, let's remove her from everything.
Okay.
So we said 2, she had to meet with 2 and then those 2. So as you see then, and then let's say, that's clearing the schedule. So it looks to me, I don't see how you reset the schedule once you do that. Yeah, because that just shows you the times of everything. So yeah, I don't know. Without clearing the schedule and starting over and taking her out completely.
Another quick question. So would it automatically just move them from room to the next room? Like
this, I don't know. Has anybody gotten to that point where they know, what happens?
No, the interviewer has to accept each person.
my God.
Your faculty member will have to click a button saying that they are ready. And then once they do that, then it will show up on the candidate's side that they can enter the room.
Oh, that's not gonna work for me because
No way. No way.
Stephanie, so how are you distributing their agenda with the links? Are you going to be emailing them to them?
I generally have always emailed directly. You know, I create a group, you know, for each day that we're doing. I create an email blind copy group and I just send out everything via email directly. I've never used I've never used ERAS for scheduling or for communication. I've just always personally felt like it's a little more personal when it comes, you know, from me, from my email. And I'm, you know, trying to, I don't know. I had a smaller program when I was in urology too. So, you know, it was, but honestly, we interviewed not many more people than urology interviewed anyway. So, yeah, I've never used ERAS or anything other than just my personal email to send out everything.
Okay. I'll see you guys on Friday. I have another meeting. Thank you.
Bye, Jen. Thanks.
Bye.
I have a question. So this is not like scheduler where Eris scheduler where we could send out the interview dates to the applicants through this system, and then they sign up for the day they want, because I do the actual times a few days or a week before the actual interview date, who's going to get to see whom and what time after I meet with the committee.
So I think it was Tammy, are you still here?
I don't see her.
I think it was Tammy who has kind of been through this, and it sounded like, I don't know if you have an option to just let them pick the day or if you have to let them pick everything. I don't know.
Okay. My wife scheduled a one-on-one session, but it's not for a while. They're all booked.
Yeah.
So.
Well, honestly, too, personally, I scheduled mine for almost the last possible day because I thought that way I've had more time here to come up with the questions I have. And if I get those questions answered, then I can go to the next question because I'm sure there's going to be a lot. And so I personally think waiting until a little closer to the end of it is probably going to be beneficial because then you just have more time to, you know what you need to ask.
I know, but I'm going to have a heart attack by then. I can't wait.
To go back and answer that question, I'm pretty sure that Tammy said that she turned off self-scheduling.
Okay.
That's actually an option. You can say, yes, I want to use it, or no, I do not want to use it.
Right. Yeah, it's right here. But I think the question was, can you let them just schedule their date?
Their day. And then I'll take care of it.
Like, if they schedule anything, they can schedule everything. That's what I remember. I feel like I remember her saying.
Because I don't want to do this manually. I want to use their scheduling system and then my Zoom breakout rooms.
Yeah. Well, I think you could, as long as the timing thing works for you, I think you could use it and not involve your candidates in that process.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? So in other words, if you have it nice and clean and it's just like what we just did, you have 4 rooms and you want, or 3 rooms that you want everyone to interview in, and 2 rooms that only 2, you can only have 2. So let's say you have 3 rooms that you want multiple people to interview in, and you say how many people, and you probably can pick all of them. And then you could have another 2 rooms that you say everyone does. And then it sets up that schedule for you. I don't think that has to go to them directly.
Yeah, I'm not going to use these rooms. I mean, I'm going to use Zoom breakout rooms, but I guess I have to set up these fictitious rooms in order to create.
Set the rooms up, but you won't have to use them.
Okay.
Because number one, you have to set the rooms up before you can set up a schedule and a session.
Yeah.
And use the platform to set your schedule for you.
Right.
But I feel like then you could do this and then you're able to print, your schedule. And you know, you could use that, just not give them access to it.
Okay. Yeah, the day is more important to me, what day they want, you know.
And that you could do, you know, I'm sure you can do it either, if you want to do it through the platform, you could email them and say, here are your choices of a day, please respond, right? Just to you, or you could do it via email. And then you'll decide, you know, you'll put it in to the
Okay.
system. You'll assign them. In other words, if you looked at this like as it's 3 different days, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you can pick which applicants are assigned to each of those days. You choose
Gotcha.
that.
Mm-hmm.
So you do that here. And you pick whoever is going to be assigned to whatever session, right?
Hmm.
So I can't assign more than 6. I guess it's because of the way I set it up. So there's a lot of this interconnected stuff that we're going to have to kind of work through, because obviously it's not, you know, it's kind of like you got to go back 2 steps and do this before you can do the next thing that you want to do. It looks like to me.
Okay, so general question, besides the one-on-one, which I've scheduled the sessions with them, there's another, a different, from what I understand, organized liaison training that we can sign up for?
Yes. And someone put that link in the chat.
Yeah, I see
And
it
you
right
can
here.
sign up for all of them. Those are apparently the sessions that they held at the meeting in Denver.
So it's a recording, you mean, or is it a live thing?
They're workshops. They say they're live. They're workshops, but they're
Workshop.
the same content as what was in Denver. There's 2 tomorrow. There's 1 next Monday and 1 the following Wednesday.
2 tomorrow? Okay.
Yeah. 1 is tomorrow, I think 12 to 1, and the other is 5 to 6. These are all
Okay.
Eastern time.
All right, I need to sign up for that.
And so when you click on the link, it'll show you at the bottom what day and what topic they're covering at each of the sessions.
Well, I just clicked on the one that Jen sent, and it's a Zoom. It connects you to a Zoom meeting.
It did?
Yeah,
I had to sign up. I just had to register. That's
I
weird.
need that. I need that.
Hang on, let
I
me.
just put the link in the chat again. See if that one works for you.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah, it should take you to like a registration.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, no,
Yeah, I got this error page a lot.
I did too. I don't know, maybe it's busy.
It's just so frustrating.
I had to forward it to my Gmail in order to be able to do it because it was blocked.
Oh, you're
Yep.
right. Yeah, you
So
have to be
most-
logged into your Gmail.
Yep, you just forward it to your personal,
And
like,
then you
Gmail,
can
and then
tell
do
it
it.
you prefer to use it'll ask you preferred email. And like I put in my institutional email
Yep.
as my preferred, but I was logged into my Gmail. That's
Yep.
I
true.
see. Okay. Oh,
Yeah. Anything else that anybody wants to talk about?
Can we make this go away?
I know, I know.
Yes, please, please.
How far are you from retirement? I'm
Not
kidding.
too far.
Laughing.
We could
That
just-
might be the only way to make it go away. I have a feeling it's not going anywhere.
If
So
we could just try again next year, it would work as well.
well, and that's another thing, you could take it that way, like you're going to learn part of it this year and you're going to do part of it next year, that way you're not overwhelming yourself, your program, your faculty with all these changes.
Because it's a lot. It's really a lot. If we would have had maybe 6 months or more to practice this to get everything all worked out,
Right,
it would be
exactly.
different.
Right.
But to have, I mean, I know they've been talking about it, but in February when I was at the conference, I just thought it was going to be more of a hands-on thing then, but then to put this all on us in less than what, 120 days or less, 60 days before
Right.
applications comes in, this is a whole lot.
It's a whole lot. Yeah. I
Plus to
agree.
train your faculty, and some of my faculty members are older that I have a problem with anyway. I still have to print stuff out. And for Zoom, he has to come to my office and I have to walk him through this. There's no way he's going to be able to do this.
No,
Yeah.
no
Yeah.
way.
Well, and honestly, the thing is, if we are comfortable doing things, you know, we can instill confidence in our faculty and in everyone else. But when we are
But-
still,
Yeah.
you know, getting our feet firmly planted in how this works, we can't go and say, okay, yeah, this is what you do. And, you know, then it kind of makes them, it's very much like that some of the feelings I've had in some of the meetings where it doesn't seem like necessarily liaisons got their act together. Now, supposedly they do. So, okay. But I've gotten just the vibe that maybe, you know, we're still working on this. We're still getting it, you know, set up or whatever. And that doesn't instill a lot of confidence in me.
It does not.
You know,
because I can't teach.
So you can't teach someone something that you're not
Nothing.
confident using.
No, I can't teach anybody nothing right now.
Right. So that's the biggest hurdle, I think, is with
Yeah.
this little limited amount of time that we've had in the live. And then even the timing, right? It's the almost the very beginning of the academic year when we have so many other things going on. I mean, it took me till the, you know, first week of August to get everything I had to get into new innovations, all the evaluations set up, all the schedules, you know, all that stuff. And I'm not saying that there's times that, you know, how we all know this. I tell my husband, there's always a tsunami, you know, a wave, but sometimes it's smaller, you know.
Yes, I totally agree.
If we were at a time when it wasn't such a lot of other important things and then we're trying to get this too, it just really does add to the stress level. And I don't think anyone would disagree with that. I just feel like, you know, the people that I see, you know, sometimes you just have to go ahead and jump in, right? In other words, if they've been talking about doing this for a while, there has to come a time when you go, okay, we're just going to do it. Right. And I always say, just like trial by fire, we just have to all get in there and jump in there and figure it out.
And do it and figure it out.
Because otherwise you might keep talking about it for 100 years and nothing.
That's true.
You know, so I mean, I can see the whole, you know, big picture, but it doesn't make it any easier. It's kind of like, you know, we're all in the same boat and it's sinking, we feel like. And that should give us a little solace that we're not alone, but we're still sinking.
Yes,
So,
agree.
you know,
Agree.
So somebody told me that one time. They said, just because there's a lot of other people drowning around you doesn't mean you're not drowning. You know?
Yeah.
And I thought
I
that was a
totally
great
agree.
analogy, you know. So anyway, I think we can figure it out between all these other things. You know, we can go to these workshops. Hopefully we get questions answered. And, you know, you can't pick up everything, I feel like, from these kind of, especially from these kind of institutionally led workshops. But hopefully we can get enough that then when we come back to these meetings, we can talk through a lot of things and that will be helpful.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well,
All right.
I'm going to stop the recording and I will get that sent out to everybody. And then we'll see you all or whoever.